What's going on YouTube? In today's episode of Rad Dad Life, we're going to be reviewing the ITarget system. ITarget. I think that's right. Today's episode of Rad Dad Life, we're going to be reviewing the ITarget system. I'm not paid by them. This is not a promotion by them. This is solely just for you Rad Dads. And so this is for people who obviously don't have time on their hands, don't have much time on their hands to go to the range as often as they would like, don't have the finances to shoot as often as they like, because as we all know, shooting has gotten pretty damn expensive, and ammo it's crazy. It's a little bit better now than it was a year, 2 years ago, but still it's higher than it has been the last 5 years. And now you get to do background checks every time you buy ammo. It's a pain in the butt here in California, but a good little kind of alternative for now is the ITarget system. It is fantastic. You can buy it per the caliber, so it can get kind of costly, but if you run like me, I run all 9mm and 5.56. I do have a 7.62 chambered AR, but for the most part this will be the gun that I kind of run and gun with and do most of my kind of fun activities. Most of my shooting will be with the 5.56, this AR right here. And also my competition gun. To show you, it is empty. There is no magazine in there. The actual bullet, the laser bullet, is in here already. Just push it in. Same thing with my AR. Completely empty. Nothing comes out. It is on safe just for the heck of it. So I have been practicing with the ITarget system. This is a little excessive. What I do want to get is I want to get the ITarget bullet for the 5.56 because the ITarget doesn't go based off of round type. It goes based off just having the round itself. So if I were to shoot one shot with the 5.56 and then transition to the Glock or the 9mm and shoot, it would show two shots back to back. It doesn't think, hey, one was one of the other and the other one was chambered 9mm. It doesn't know. It just knows that two different rounds were shot. The only downfall of this obviously is when you shoot, you have to recock it. So it doesn't really work for follow-up shots, and it also doesn't have that kickback, that real-like feeling of a firearm. But for the initial shot right off the bat, it does do really well, because that's usually, you don't have to worry about recoil, at least on the first shot. So for the first shot, especially from concealed carry, it is very, very good for the ITarget. That is what I use this for 99% of the time, is for CCW, is for coming out of the holster, out of the draw, like walking around and then target on, and I pull it out really fast. So that's what I use the ITarget for. That's where you see it shine, is pulling from concealed carry, or some people carry strong side, or whatever the case may be. It works phenomenal for first and initial shots. Obviously for follow-up shots, you gotta cock it back and you have to reposition your grip, so it isn't as practical for follow-up shots. So I don't really think it actually helps too much with that. Maybe if you're shooting one arm and you don't have to mess with your grip, maybe. But I use this 99% for the initial shot, for concealment, pulling out of concealment and firing my first round, seeing how fast I can get my clothes out of the way and pull my firearm, be on target, and then fire the initial shot. That is where this ITarget shines, at your first initial shot. And it also works with outside the waistband, because like I said, you don't have to worry about recoil management on your first shot. Your first shot dictates greatly on hand placement and consistency. So that's where the ITarget shines, because like I said, yeah, you don't get the recoil or the blowback of a real feel of a firearm, but for the first shot, everything is exactly the same. The trigger pull is the same, the initial shot is the same. Obviously there's no recoil, but like I said, for the first shot, it's exactly the same. So from doing the initial shot, it really does help strengthen that. It helps strengthen your trigger control. You're making sure that you get the exact same placement on the firearm every time. Because like I said, even if you cock back, it doesn't really matter, because unless you're doing malfunction drills, you're never going to take your follow-up shots, you're never going to take your hand off the firearm. Like I said, if you have a malfunction, then you can maneuver it and then you can slide the cup and then go. But you're never going to take your hand off the firearm. So like I said, yeah, you could use this for one-handed shooting, but I mean, it will work. You take your hand off, so you actually don't move your grip, which is beneficial, but you still have to cock back. So it definitely doesn't help with repetitive shooting quickly, but it does and you don't get the blowback. So like I said, think of this solely as a great tool for fundamental shooting, for initial first shots, which is really, really important. And then obviously follow-up shots are super important too, but you have to do real ammunition for that, or get all those cool CO2 guns that do the blowback and everything. But I think the most important factor is the foundation, is having a solid purchase on the firearm, nice and high, good grip, good secondary hand grip, and then good eyes on target, and then good trigger control. That's all going to be exactly the same with the real round than you are going to be with the ITarget. So that's what I think this is super, super good for. Now, if I were to get one with the actual 5.56 round in there, I would be able to work on transitions really, really well. Yeah, it'd only be one shot, but like I said, this would all be the exact same on a real round. I mean, technically, I guess the 5.56 doesn't have much kick, so even if you were to do a shot, then transition, you don't really get too much kickback, so it's essentially be the same thing. So it looks something similar to this. And both times you get a nice audible shot, and you get a nice little audible number on that. On my sense, it's the iPhone. I'll show you guys here in a second. So both times you get a nice shot right on target. So I do want to buy the ITarget round, the 5.56, so that I can actually work on transition shooting my initial shot with my 5.56, and then transitioning over to my sidearm in the 9, and then that way I can focus on first shot on the rifle, secondary shot. It doesn't have, at least on the free mode that comes with the ITarget, it doesn't have, I don't think it does, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have time from first shot to second shot. You can buy there's 2 or 3 modes on there. You can buy the other one. I'm pretty sure it's a one-time purchase, and it's probably not very much. And especially if I do get 2 different rounds where I can transition, I probably will purchase that, because then it can become valuable, seeing how fast I can transition, how well I stay on target, because you do have, I'll show you the target here in a little bit, but it is a bullseye target, so it does tell you where your round flies. I'll be at the low ready, and there's no timer, so it's just kind of off you. So I do like this because on my follow-up shot for my transition, yeah, I can go a little bit faster, but it does tell me what number I get. So right now I just shot an 8. That's pretty good. Obviously, I don't know the time difference between the transition to here, but like I said, if I did buy the other round for the 5.56, I will probably purchase that different mode on there that does tell you what shots are, because then that would be valuable information for me to see how fast I can transition and how well I can stay on target. So let me show you what this looks like here. This is when you have the initial screen, so whatever you see, I'll show you what comes in the box, but it's essentially just, you get the one-time purchase where you have to buy the holder that you see here. It holds your phone, and it holds the target at a distance. You can adjust the distance. Then it does come with this target here specifically, so you can see this thing automatically picks up. You can enter, when you go to settings, you have a bunch of settings. You have your distance here. You have gunshot sounds. You have the size of the sounds. You have bullet hole size. You have sensitivity on the rounds, because sometimes if you talk too loud. Then here's Quick Draw. This is the app that I told you get to purchase that we don't have. It is, yeah, see, it's a one-time purchase for Quick Draw, but I think that would be very beneficial for transition shooting. But for now, we'll just do bullseye. See, it automatically gets that. I have the distance at 15 feet, and then we just double tap. So from the AR, ITarget system, ITarget little phone holder there that it expands so you can get all kinds of phones. You have the adjustable link here, and then this just slides in like that. Really easy, and you can adjust it based on your phone. See how the sensitivity is kind of high, so the shots just go off. So you have on the app, you have stats that you can see your shooting stats. Kind of cool. Quick Draw, I don't have any scores for those because I don't have the app. So I've been using the ITarget for roughly around 2 years now. I think I got it right when COVID first hit and ammo prices skyrocketed. Like I said, I highly recommend it, but you make sure when you go into it, you know what it is. It is going to be a laser system that sometimes can have flaws and sometimes it can read inaccurately, but for the most part, with the correct adjustments to the sensitivity, it does work pretty well. Along with that, it doesn't work good for follow-up shots because it is not realistic for you to have to cock the slide back every single time. You're gonna have to re-grip your pistol. So honestly, I wouldn't use it for follow-up shots. I just did it here for the video to show you how it looks on paper or how it looks on the phone that simulates how it would hit on the target. But for the most part, using it for the initial shot is where it really shines because it makes you focus on your hand placement on your firearm, your secondary hand placement on your firearm, and your trigger control and sight on, or your eyes on sight. So it really helps with the fundamentals of shooting, especially with the first shot. And like I said, if you have several rounds I have one for my firearms, and I have all 9mm firearms, so it works great because it's interchangeable between all my CCWs and my outside the waistband carry firearms. And I will get one for the 5.56, and I can use that interchangeably with my different my different ARs. So then that way it will work fantastic for transitioning. First shot with the AR followed with my transition to the sidearm. And then if I do purchase that quick draw app, I do believe it does have the option to show you how fast your initial shot was to your second shot. So that right there would be very valuable information and something that will give me something to work on. Faster draws, better accuracy is a great goal to have. Something that I can do at home like this every day, you can't beat that. To do this at the range, well, I mean, even if you did 1-on-1, yeah, you can save a lot of money that way. But even then, still driving to the range and still spending money on rounds, even though you'll be saving if you're doing 1-on-1 drills, still it's time consuming and still more expensive than the option of staying at home. Excuse me, if you have all your settings correctly on your firearms, it works pretty well. And you still have to go to the range and practice follow-up shots, and it still is not 100% obviously the feel. You don't have your heart racing when you're not shooting live rounds. Like obviously there's not that, I don't know, it's just for lack of a better word, the adrenaline rush of shooting live ammunition over shooting an ITarget at home where you're chilling in your pajamas and flip-flops. Still, it is very good for working on the fundamentals, so I do highly recommend it in there. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by iTarget. This is just the one that my wife got me for a Christmas present a couple years ago, and it works great. They updated the app, and as long as they update the apps and stay up to date with them, I highly recommend it. I know there's some companies that lag on it, GoPro for instance. The app hasn't changed for years, but that's just me venting on something entirely different. So they do seem to be updating the app. They do seem to be coming out with different things for the iTarget. One was like a cube where you can shoot and put the cubes in different areas. Like I said, I really don't like that unless you put 3 different cubes in 3 different areas within eyesight, and then you have someone call out shoot right cube, and then you from the first initial draw shoot the right cube. That's the only time I can see that beneficial, because like I said, follow-up shots don't work well. But if you put 3 different cubes in 3 different areas and have someone call out, or for you just don't think about it and then say right cube and then aim for the right cube and do quick draw in that mode, quick draw, that would be pretty beneficial, because that will work on, you know, obviously quick reaction and accuracy and trigger control and hand placement and a lot of other things, great fundamentals. These fundamentals would transition well to the range where you get to shoot live ammunition. Oh, and side note, getting the round out of the chamber is kind of a pain in the ass. You're gonna need like a pencil. Is the only thing I have in this entire house that can go through the barrel without damaging the barrel and pushing out the laser round, because anything else you definitely can't pry it out. I mean, I guess you could using a knife, but I wouldn't recommend that because you're gonna damage that bullet most likely. So the only thing I can think of is pushing this pencil through the barrel, popping it out. Pops out really easily, but if you don't have anything small enough and that doesn't do damage to the barrel, like a pen does not work obviously because they have off caps, literally only a pencil is the only thing I know. Heavy duty straw, maybe for a metal straw, that would work, but this is softer, so I definitely would use a pencil. That's the only pet peeve I have of the iTarget, and it's also like $59.99 for a laser. But overall, it's worth it, and I've seen similar prices for other firearm trading tools like this, so it's not far-fetched. All right, so I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions about the firearms that I use, the blade carrier, or my war belt, which comes with a cool little knife, mostly just a little tool to get out any rounds that kind of get jammed or stuff like that. But nevertheless, if you guys have any questions about any of the gear that I use, these are my hand-up AT Plus pants that I use for mountain biking, but they work phenomenal for shooting. They are super tear resistant, they're lightweight, they're dry fit, they're super comfortable and stretchy. So even though they are meant for mountain biking, they transition perfect for running and gunning or just to the range. They're just super comfortable. The pockets are deep and they go off to the side so they don't kind of go in your groin area, and then when you move and shoot, it kind of, your phone or whatever you have in your phone pocket sticks into your groin. It don't feel good. These have nice pockets, they feel good, they're comfortable, and they're stretchy. That's a different note. So like I said, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. I do read them all, I do reply to them all. And as always, have a rad day.